Right, hello everyone. I'm going to do another video, yeah, because there's a couple of things I want to show you. First one is what I'm doing with my waters at the moment. So here, I've got a setup of like stones from all around the world, basically, that have been given to me that I've had. Most of them are from Scotland. The shell in the middle is from Cambodia, and then temples, some of yours are in there. Shells, mainly shells, and the chalk wanted to be near the centre. And the shell wanted to be in the centre, but as you can see, so it's a bit of a mess, but I've got my speakers here, and it's like vortexing energy, like around into the waters. So I leave these waters for up to 12 to 14 hours, and then I rotate them in what I'm drinking. So this is basically all I'm drinking, and I charge the stones, like outside, so around by my tree, and around my garden. And then, oh, sorry, I look like a bit of a mess today. Not that I care, but I feel good, so that's all that matters, isn't it? And yeah, I put the information out. It's heavy information for people the last few days, you know, the stuff I'm putting out. But it needs to be spoken about, and it needs to be done in ways where people can bridge and actually understand what we're saying, because, like, Kirsty commented on my Instagram, which I thought was really good and spot on in everything I'm trying to say and do, but the thing is, people don't literally understand it, the ones that are stuck in the binary code, which is everyone, because of the laws and the systems and the fear that people were being put in, do you know what I mean, to actually, because this all that's going through my head right now is a response from the public. I've had an intake in this and not really understanding it. You know, I was doing this yesterday. There's something I wanted to show you, which I've been finding really interesting. It's the silliest thing, but it's not at the same time. So I'm just wanting to show you. Oh, the sun's come up a little bit now. It's just holding this and trying to capture it at the same time, really. It's this. My friend got me from Canterbury. But it's the way it's like bouncing light on a surface. So you can see it's kind of like indented with like these shapes. And I've actually been drawing these shapes as well quite a lot, which is kind of weird. Yeah, just see if it vortexes in there. It's the way it bounces light on surfaces. Oh, the sun's coming out. Let's see if I can get it. Hang on, I need to hold this properly. Let's see if we can pick up a little bit of it. It's like, you know, like you get the glimpse of a watch or something in it. Kind of, see, that should be capturing it. Like, it's really clear when the sun's right on it, but you can actually make like 3D shapes with just the way the light's refracting off of it. This is actually the whole thing. Inside it's just bouncing. But it was this bit, the corners of it, that was really amusing me. And then another thing that I keep being shown as well. So like, I came out of my hut at like 3 in the morning the other day, and my picnic's just crystalline waters. So yeah, with this painting, at the moon outside of here the other day was literally like this. It was like that. I know people take pictures of rings around things, but the ring around that was absolutely insane the other day, the wolf moon, whatever it was. So I was coming back in here sleeping and waking up, and then I kept looking at that thinking it looks like the moon. Then I saw the ring around it, then I came back in and I slept. And then it was showing me this. And then it keeps showing me, Melissa, your video is spheres. So then I was thinking about spheres video. And then yesterday on my walk, like, I found this one up here, because, you know, we're in Priestwood quite a while ago, and like, you know, I've been studying the flint. It's like, this was one of the pieces with loads of quartz and stuff in, yeah. So I was trying to see the bits with the cinnabar was creating quartz, so like, I always collect bits and study it around here anyway. But I've been finding like a few bits like this, and I actually picked another piece up yesterday, so I'm going to show it today because I've got a few patterns of it. But they're like, I find it really strange how it's circulating, because obviously I'm looking at how it's vibrating out of the chalk. And then, so that was one piece. I found that, well, we've only been here like, I It must be like 6-8 months now. So I found that when I got it. And then I found this piece again yesterday. Like, I don't know if you can see it as well on there, but it's got the same kind of tear shape. And then I was showing Eldridge, my friend Eldridge came around when I did that last video, and we were talking about the lost village of Dode up there, where the 8 ley lines, other ley lines meet, and it's like not on any maps. No one around here, like the farmer that's been around here for years, knows everyone, never heard of it. And it's in like this teardrop shape. And then I found this stone. I had actually commented on the YouTube, I said in my videos on this on the ley lines there, does 8 ley lines meet here, to the people that did a YouTube video, and it just kept getting deleted. And they said, like, if you want to hire this venue, then call this number and stuff. People still get married in that. It's like a church, but it's just in the middle of lost village of Dode, and it's just like a tear shape with a stone circle with another circle. I just keep getting weird feeling about why they're hiding it or whatever, so I need to go up there. But I've had a bit more information come forward to me now. It's not all so positive, but at the same time, like when you're out of a state of duality, looking down on how this is all functioning, we need to look at it. So yes, it was in regards to the Wood Wide Web and the symbolism and how they're moving also through that. But first I want to just talk about the moon, the sun, and what I'm being shown there, to see if anyone else has any comments on it, because what I was being shown was like the sun as a star. So like it's like not a sphere, because the sun used to be a sphere, used to be a yellow sphere. Yellow's the colour we see before we die. When people take things or whatever, things go yellow in the eyes. Yellow is seen as the happy colour. Yellow is like a lower wavelength, isn't it, as well? So we need to look at like the colour yellow, obviously linking to like the sacral, which is the chakra that they're mining from, and obviously the middle of the egg, I was going about the cosmic egg, is yellow, and then yeah, like apparently the purest form of MDMA is meant to come from the dandelion, which is also yellow, isn't it? So yeah, it's been like obviously fractured since then, so it's not pure anymore, but it was. So that was that. And then so I'm being shown the moon, yeah, and then how it's a sphere, and then I was being shown the bone caverns. I just posted some of the pictures of the bone caverns on my Facebook for people around this area to look at. This is the energy I'm dealing with now, because actually a lot of them do know certain things about this area, and like I've had people go to buy houses in certain places up there and it's haunted and they couldn't buy it, and there's a lot going on like energetically. Like as soon as I came here, this place, like yeah, this area is weird as, and I've been, I'll talk about that in a minute, hang on. So obviously it is called Priestwood, and like when Kirsty was here the other day, there's like a certain point where the sun just goes literally over my house, and I'm wondering if it's why it's called Priestwood, because of where the sun aligns here, and then the moon, and it has this like over, or like it must be like a kind of line or an equator, or like it's a certain point where it literally goes like this over where I am. And since it's been winter, obviously because I've just been studying it, I haven't been here that long, and it's just been going like this over my hut, but still the same. I've moved house so many times, like I've lived in a lot of houses, and this has been probably the clearest skies, the clearest like where you can see it. And it is always important to these people with this whole structure that's set up. There's a reason why this area is the way it is, and all of Kent and London and the way it is, yeah. And what I'm seeing is like, look at all the stars, look at the sun, like the thing with Epstein that they call it Bow-Wow, they're like power into the sun. So we've got to look at this input-output, which is what I'm saying with the binary code, input-output, because the output seems to be going through the moon. Like women have their periods around the moon, it used to be at the same time, blah 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 blah. The moon moves the tides, moves the waters, it moves us with water, moves our emotions, which we're saying outside of language is different frequencies. So the moon is input-output. The sun now is like a platinum star. So it's like not in a sphere anymore, it's like beaming out. When people are capturing it, it's in a hexagon, like Saturn has the fixed hexagon. Yeah, and then they're showing me the difference between spheres and stars, because they're shining out like this, or it's a sphere. So like I was saying with the tourist field, the tourist field, when it's like knotted, or when it's unknotted, it's coming out like this. So this has a massive factor in how they're mining energy input output. Because I think the moon is basically just like a satellite. Because obviously Matt Spears talk about it. You got like all these other, I don't know, super soldiers in here talking about, I've been to there, jump rooms here, jump rooms to there. Yes. So I know Gaia is the heart of the set up system. Well, it would all be water, wouldn't it? Because the space is full of water. And then we've got all the stars. So are the ones all in spheres trapped? Tourist fields being mined like the same as Earth is, because all we look at is the spheres, and then the sun comes through to like certain places, like the acoustic chambers in Malta, for instance, only catch the winter sun. The temples in Angkor Wat in Cambodia catch the sun. The ones in Egypt have the same sun. So these are points. Must be input-output points, because they're all being made out of limestone and things like that, which is bones, and then we've got the bone caverns below, which run every 200 miles, which they're mining energy from frequency, from ancient monks and things going down there, and who else is going there, who else is involved with it. Obviously it's a big setup below. So is that also linking with the moon? Because I know they have that Diana's mirror that is linked through like an old supervolcano as well. Air wasn't very well in Guatemala, the energy, some of the stones she's taken out of her mesa because of the energy from Guatemala, which is old Mayan temple land. Yeah, and then you're looking at the ancient Maya sundials, and they also spoke about binary code. One of the guys that was studying the galactic calendar linked with the Mayan looked at binary code as well, and the I Ching. So why is the sun coming through as a hexagon sometimes? Now it's like coming out, it's becoming more platinum, so it's like breaking through something. So is there energy coming through to this system that's breaking out of these spheres, is what I'm wondering. I'm actually seeing this now because, you know, I'm unsure about the moon, whether it is just a harvesting energy, and then you've got to look at the sun as like source energy, because that was like be like the stars, you know, like out of the thing, and then it's changing as we're calling more energy down here now. So I'm wondering, the bone caverns definitely have a link with the moon, is what I'm saying, because it wouldn't be in my painting, I wouldn't be getting shown it right now, linked with all this thread of information. And then I'm saying we need to give the people the binary code back to understand, because Kirsty was saying to me, yes, but is it all just vibrating of colour and the environment? And I'm like, yes, it is, but you keep saying this to people in their face, they don't intake it. They need to actually be walked almost through the information to understand where it went wrong, or where it's being harvested, or where it, you know, they need a bit something that's tangible to hold on to understand, because of the programming has only been taught to almost intake states of like facts and beliefs. That's how it's been. So it needs facts and beliefs, and they always hid the facts and the beliefs because they knew we couldn't get hold of them. But now we're starting to get hold of them, so we actually need to put them into people with, you know, the rest of the information as well, and a way out. So we have the way out, but we need the people to understand. And that was for that, so I'll stop ranting about that right now. The next thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly was the trees. So I've had this thing about yew trees since I saw some in these books from like the libraries I was looking at. Anyway, Simon's given me this. So it's like meetings with remarkable trees, and it's like trees from all over the world. It's amazing. Like the best ones in the world, which is perfect for me because I connect through shape and form. So actually with this I can connect to all of these trees. It's even made by Phoenix. But yeah, you can see, like, and all of them are basically around churches and things like this, the larger trees. So we've got to think about where they're getting the energy to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I keep seeing things about the Wood Wide Web, but I haven't brought up yet, but I'm going to bring it up now, because all of the food are on hills, Rowan Tree, Hill, and then like all the food, the bakers and that are on all this, like Lidl and Aldi, or the cheaper foods and stuff my mum gets sometimes, right? And I'm just seeing like things being sucked up, like experiments with things being sucked up through the trees. So I'm wondering actually what energy is coming out of these trees as lungs in some locations, is what I'm saying, because the bases are obviously below, because we're all feeding and eating off of the Wood Wide Web. It's the brain that we're all connected to, that we're surviving off of. Like I said, the animals, everything we're eating is like source energy with like balanced pieces of dopamine, and we're consuming that dopamine, and more dopamine's being taken from us because of our consumption of energy from dopamine. It's like we're like a transmitter in between. And when I'm looking at all these trees, and like the king of just the names of the places, like Hooker's Choice at Kew, Hooker's Choice, you know, and then it's Marbles pink as shrimp. It's just the way, the width of the jungle. You know, the names, they're not pleasant names when you actually put them down to feelings and things like this, do you know what I mean? Shrines, gloom or boom, make miracle. I mean, look at the size of some of these trees. So I just started connecting some dots because cremating a war hero, like, not all of them I'm saying, but just some of them. Gateways and homes. Now this is the way that I paint. This is a yew tree. This is the way that I paint, and this is why I've been obsessed with them. And like, I've worked in loads of places called the Cricketers. So there's a Cricketers down there, and I keep bringing up sport. So I'm going to talk about the sport now because I keep painting white balls. Like, this is like a golf ball. That's like a moon. That's like a football. You know, and when the caverns are running every 200 miles, yes, they're underneath all these stadiums, they're underneath the cricket pitch, they're underneath all these things because they're mining energy. And obviously it's linking again, like, all body movement, all out of time things with counting on numbers, like, oh, you won that, you won this, but you're still like working as a team. So it would be a web of consciousness when you're working in teams, and then you're on top of these amps. You know, I've never liked the sound of football on TV. Like, since I was younger, I hate the sound of a roaring crowd on TV of football men, because it's the sound of men roaring. I've never liked that sound. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. It always has done. I don't know if it was because my dad was quite abusive when he was younger, and, you know, he'd watch football. Could be that also, but there's just, I don't think it is fully that, because I just don't like the sound of, I think it's men's aggression, and this is what they're mining, because men are putting all their energy from work. You know, they don't get to express it anywhere else. They need to show love to the partner, they need to show love to the kids. So where do they take out all this aggression, all this extra energy? They take it out in sport and places like this, and then they're harvesting it, and then obviously it's mined with binary code because it's numbers. It's 11 aside for football, yeah. But I keep finding, by all the cricket pitches now, they've got like sets of 6 of yew trees and things like that. Now these are linked with churches and things, and this is all church land around here, and I've been noticing how many yew trees. There's a certain walk that I do because I feel like I have to go to certain places. When I live there, I have to feel like I do. There's always one loop that I'll do the most, and I'll do it sometimes clockwise and mainly anti-clockwise, but occasionally clockwise to level it out. But there's so many yew trees around here, and like yesterday, I went out on a walk and I found someone had made a big mark, and then X marks the spot, but they've done it with chalk, and I know the X, they keep doing it in the sky. The X is like no programming in school. Loads of the words with X in, like Bexley Heath, where I used to live. The things with X in Bex Hill, like they actually have symbolism in. This is how I told you, they don't follow the full word, they follow the X's. And things with double E's in as well. Double E's mean something to these people in code too. This is how they follow all the codes. But I keep being shown in the woods like the same setups. Like I go around and put bits of crystal down by the trees. But I'm starting to notice now that this is actually forms of communications. Like they found that massive paedophile ring in Arizona that was linked with the Clintons in the trees in the woods. Yeah, and obviously there's loads of things linked, yes, around Kent with dogging and things like that. I know there is as well. But the thing is, I don't think these people would go through the lengths to set up like the structures I keep seeing is like one bit like this and then come down like that. Yes, kids could make it, but I don't think the kids are going to each set of woods around this area and leaving them up like that in each location. It looks like too the samey or too. It looks like a ritual, basically. I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know if this is true. I'm just saying these are the patterns that I've been seeing since I've been here, since I was younger, of these like setups. And yesterday, like I said, I saw one with an X and I rubbed it out. I was like, why are they? Because it wasn't chalk coming up from the chalk. Someone had got a bit and gone like this and like rubbed it out. And obviously, why have they done that for someone else to come along and find that spot? It just doesn't really make sense to me, you know. And then I'm looking at all this, I'm looking at the yew trees and where they are, and then yes, look, that is the way that I paint. That also is similar to like the fractal, the way it's coming up. And like this is a yew tree, the cave at Crowhurst. Obviously, the ones I'm seeing are like the size of this front bit here on its own. So there's so many trees here all crashing into each other. I can't see the difference all the time. So like maybe I do need to start learning how to differentiate the different ones. Yes, because I am looking at woodward, but you know I can see a tree and then I can see what another tree looks like. But the thing is with me, I can't process the names. That's part of my dyslexia. I can't remember all the names of all the trees. There's so many, but I can see a tree then see what it looks like. now. But yeah, I didn't realise with the yew trees, you know. And going through this book, I'm starting to realise, like, is there symbolism just through types of trees as well, all over the world. But yeah, like this one, anti-clockwise at Q. Again and again and again. So I'm wondering what people are going to think of this, what I'm saying now. And yeah, I'm actually chilling for the next few days. I've got to go and live paint and do things on the 25th, and then go down to Devon to see Elle. And yeah, a lot of things are like going on with me at the moment. So I've got a few days now to just chill and look at this and keep painting through it. But yeah, the binary code is not. Gaia doesn't like it, basically. And if we could shut that down, it might stop the mining off of her energetically. But then we also need to look at the input-output, because binary code is like the biggest output right now. So we actually need to like unplug it, plug it into the Wood Wide Web. I said this in my video ages ago when I was channeling about we need to get the brain of the internet, and then plug it back into the Wood Wide Web. You know, and just change our energy put down to there. Because that is, you know, what we're all a part of, literally, at a cellular level. And, yeah, right, it is all plasma. Like I said again, it's a slowed down frequency. It is a slowed down frequency. And one more thing as well. So I've had this spot for a while, it keeps coming and going. And Tia, one of my friends in New Zealand, we were talking the other day, and she had a spot, but it was on the other side. And we were talking on Skype. And everyone knows I've had this thing about left and right with my paintings. Like, if I paint a bird, this side is different to this side. And I'm trying to figure out... Because I know that if you look in, like, one eye, like the left eye, it's meant to be, like, if you want truth from someone, or you want, like, this from someone, you look both in one eye, both in the other. The two eyes are different. And I'm wondering whether it's to do with the programming. Like I said, the binary code, the left side. There's something going on with this and this side, like, physically. Physically, I'm talking about. Because I know certain animals only intake UV through some eyes and spit them out. Like, our eyes are actually different. And then when we're looking at with the mirroring and everything, there's something going on with this. Because when I can never understand left to right. And when you say to someone, oh, it's your left, your right. But when I'm looking at my left side's here. So there's something going on with the left and the right. It probably links to the I Ching and the whole setup of the mirroring. Yes, somehow. But my dyslexic brain hurts when I talk about numbers. And unless it's visually in front of me, or I can visually see it in my head, that I can't put the... I'm struggling to put the words to the numbers to everything that I'm seeing, because I don't always get it spot on because of my dyslexia. This is what I've always struggled with. But what I'm saying is there's something going on with the left and the right side. So when me and Tia were talking to each other, like, her spot was on her right side and mine was on my left. But when we were talking to each other, they were on the same side. So that's the left brain, which would be the binary code. So that would be the more programmed brain. So what are they doing with this tech, with these cameras? Is it going left to left? Because they're uneven somehow. So when I'm talking on here and all people are chatting through like these, because Elle also said that the new camera on the iPhone is 64-bit. So, you know, what is going on with this? Can they see through mirrors? Can they see through this screen? Is what I'm saying. There's a lot more going on with all this when we think about dimensions and that, because they're using this as a grid as well through the binary code. This is all of it is on here. So why are our eyes going left to left with the spot here when they're on different sides but they're meeting equal through Skype and things like that? We need to look at how everything is angling and mirroring, and what eyes are going to what lengths. Because if you swap someone over and their eyes are going this way to this way, then you're only communicating through... Do you see what I'm saying? If you swap the eyes and they're uneven, then the communication is different literally on a frequency level because of how one takes... You know, we're being lied to about that. Because when we got to start studying like animals and the superpowers, because we're all the same stuff. So like bats, for instance, sonar through the heart. That's how I awakened a lot of my gifts, was through reading up through animal superpowers. Because we're all living off the same brain, so we're all capable of the same stuff. It's just the way we're all programmed and managed to surviving right now. But I'm on 24, so I'm going to stop ranting. Just have a think about what I'm saying about the sets of trees, the gardens, what they're called, the national parks. We need to actually look at all the names of these things, because the trees are a slowed down plasma frequency. The top and the bottom of them look the same as all our nerve endings, our nervous system. And there's actually sets of ley lines with mechanic machines on that Gary Light talks about with the ley lines. Gary Light, L-I-T-E, shows images of where these like clog things are on the ley lines, like mining from the internet, and it's set up with CERN. It links to CERN somehow as well, so that must be linking with time somehow as well, or this whole web system. Something not right with the spheres in comparison to stars that shine, and it must be linked with all this binary code in the I Ching, because if everyone came off of it, the energy would go to the red, things would change. Like, another thing, if the women in Europe all grew their hair back because they're antennas, because they hold information, light codes from the sun, and even that alone, everyone in Europe growing the women hair back would change, because we're more intuitive with more chemicals and that coming out of the body. It's actually cutting all of it off is holding us back as well. But then it's just a programming that people need to overcome within themselves. So yeah, you can see where we're at with a lot of this at the moment, and it will just getting quick. It will get quicker and quicker as the Earth, maybe like things like Australia are going to keep happening until people literally can crash through, and they're at such a state of shock that the heart almost opens, and then the information can come in properly then. Because this is the only way for people to wake up to see, is through shock art. I understand how art works, and when most people leave galleries, the first thing they talk about is the thing that shocked them the most. So sometimes people need a bit of shock to open up, to see change. So we need to see it's not always a bad thing, but a tool in a way to pull us out, because just being shocked at something isn't as bad as actually experiencing it. And a lot of people are just experiencing this stuff firsthand. So actually thinking about it and being safe and still just, being there isn't such a bad thing in a way. There's so many of us dealing with it right now. So yeah, anyway, peace. A lot of love. I'm carrying on painting this today, show it to you quick. I need to wait for the blue mask to dry because I'm wanting to make it a bit thinner, but there's like dragons coming through this side. And yeah, it is linking to the trees again, the middle bit, because the roots were coming at the top and the bottom, and then that is also showing me the tourist field again. I keep painting it in the middle of everything at the moment. So I generally believe that it's knotted, that's what I'm thinking. So yeah, it's really windy here today. It's been windy here for a couple of days. The clouds just keep spinning. So I'm just wondering what is actually going on up here. Oh, one more thing as well. Simon made me this. It was pretty cool. Gave it to me. He made it ages ago. He literally made the whole thing. Well, we make all crazy things as artists, but it keeps turning. I thought that was pretty cool. Because it reminds me of the 4 seasons, because I've been looking at other seasons, and this is all flowing as well in numbers. Because obviously everything is just stuck timelines. It's just timelines within timelines when you think about it. Like the Earth's like layers and layers, when they put the cylinder into the Earth and then they pull it out, that's just layers of timelines, of literal timelines, people dying and landing on top, and just layers and layers of this happened this time, this happened that time. That is literally a timeline, a physical timeline. So it's through weather where they battered it, made it softer, made it harder, made it more physical through this earth alchemy of all the seasons and everything, because they're controlling the weather through this stuff, you know what I mean? It's like perfectly made it thicker and stronger and more dense and more dense and more dense. It's like a form of art in a way. This whole thing we're sitting on right now is like being created over so long. And it's now coming out of its cycle to change. So we need to move with the change, but loads of us are stuck, so we're helping pull out of it. And we need to understand the ways to do that, and through doing that would be through getting rid of binary code, basically, to evolve and evolve in the way we should be living, which would be back to source energy, which would be telepathy, forms of different communications and technologies which already exist here, which are being harvested from us. So we just need to take them back again and carry on with what we're doing, really. and that's it. So a lot of love, and I'll speak to you soon.